The County of Marin provides a variety of services that impact the residents of Marin every day. And given the state of the economy, like other government entities, Marin is facing challenging times. This video discusses what those specific challenges are and what steps are being taken to address them.
Marin County is one of 58 counties in the state of California, and it's important to note that counties are really political subdivisions of the state. So we are required to provide many state-mandated and funded programs. We also provide, like other counties, a wide variety of services and programs. So, for example, we provide social service programs, criminal justice programs. We also assess and collect property taxes. We conduct elections and operate the county jail. And for unincorporated areas of the county, which make up about 27% of our population, we provide services that are municipal types of services, so services people would typically see from a city, such as law enforcement, fire protection and prevention, land use permitting and processing, and also county road maintenance. In addition to those nuts and bolts types of programs and services, Marin is also dedicated to improving the quality of life. So we have a lot of programs for cultural and recreational enrichment. For example, we have the Marin Center, and I think last year we had 650,000 patrons. We have a Parks and Open Space department that manages 15,000 acres of open space, as well as regional parks and neighborhood parks. And we have a county free library system that has many branches throughout the county. Marin County has 23 departments, which are led by department heads that are both elected and appointed. We have about 2,200 employees as well, which makes Marin County government the largest employer in all of Marin as a geographical area. We have a budget this year of $431 million, and even with a budget that size, we have one of the lowest spending per resident compared to our peer counties. People often ask, where does the funding come from for the county government? And in Marin County, almost 75% of our funding comes from two primary sources. One is local taxes, and the other is federal and state monies. So what happens in Sacramento with the state legislature significantly affects our budget and our resources. People also ask, where does most of the money go? And over 60% of our budget goes to two primary areas, and that is public safety, which includes our sheriff, our fire probation services, coroner, other criminal justice services, as well as health and human services. It's important to note that county government serves as a safety net for many of our residents. County programs help put food on a family's table. It helps people get jobs. And we also help provide medical care for those who don't have proper insurance. The County of Marin's mission is to provide excellent services and to provide a safe, healthy, and environmentally sustainable community. And we intend and are committed to doing that in good times and in bad times.
Marin County, like every organization right now, is impacted by the slowdown in the economy. And Marin is a little better off than most counties for two reasons. One, we conservatively budget. We have the lowest per capita spending among our comparable counties. So comparable counties include San Mateo, Sonoma, Santa Cruz, Monterey. And we have the highest bond rating available to public entities. So that's one reason we're better off than some of other local governments. Secondly, although the pain that we're seeing in Marin is serious, it's not as severe as what we're seeing in the Central Valley and those areas that really saw the biggest boom because of the housing market. So for instance, Riverside County was seeing 22% property tax growth over the last few years. Now they're seeing negative 10%. We never saw that growth, but at the same time we're not seeing the negative growth as well. So we see this as certainly challenging, and we're going to need to cut back to live within our means. We're much better off than many other counties in California. 75% of what the county does is mandated by the state or federal government. And so that's for social service programs, food stamps, public assistance, those kind of programs. 10% is revenue we receive that we need to do a specific purpose. So those are fee-related revenues where we're doing a specific purpose, or a block grant that we need to do a certain thing to accomplish that. So there's no gain to us to stop doing it, And then the last 15% is really discretionary, and those are a lot of the quality of life services that we provide. So the library, parks, the Marin Center, those kind of things. So things that make Marin unique are our discretionary choices. So as we look to the next 5 years, we're going to need to make reduction choices. Those are going to be tough choices for certainly our board, for our residents, and so we want to make sure those are as informed choices as possible. 75% of what we do is mandated, but there is some level of discretion as to how much of that service we provide. And so we're going to be asking residents about those mandated services as well to help say, should we reduce back in those areas to help save some of these quality of life services.
Marin County faces a budget gap estimated to be between $10 and $12 million. This shortfall is primarily caused by declining property tax revenues and reductions in state funding.
This last year, we've reduced our budget by $7 million. We've had a hiring freeze on since 2007. We've held about $9 million worth of project spending. We've eliminated 30 vacant positions. And we've also reduced our retiree health benefits for all our employees starting in 2008. So we've already been working on this, and when we talk about making further reductions, it's really a continuation of the work we've already done. But we're going to be asking departments for reduction options of 5 to 10%.
Marin County will need to close this gap, and the options to address this challenge are part of the discussions related to this year's county budget.
When we analyze what we're looking at, if you take an example, the dot-com bust of the early 2000s, that was, for local government, that was basically a 2-year phenomenon. The state lost income tax revenue because of the loss of capital gains. They ended up cutting local governments. We eliminated about 50 positions, and then the housing market improved, and basically we came back to an equilibrium. We don't see that occurring this time. We see this because it's the housing markets that's the core of the downturn. We really see it as an ongoing challenge and a structural deficit. And so we're not looking to make one-time fixes to solve it. We're looking for taking a look at the mix of services we provide and have a clear understanding with our residents that we may not be able to keep providing the full mix of services that we have now, but those that we do provide, we want to provide well. And so, we're looking at this as much more of a long-term, ongoing challenge. And so that's why we're reevaluating all of our services and trying to come up with a 3 to 5 year plan to rebalance the county's budget. The way we're looking at long-term restructuring is we're basically going to try to come up with a 3 to 5 year plan to rebalance our budget, because right now, if we keep doing the services we provide now, given the revenue streams, that the money we're getting in, there's a gap each and every year for the next 5 years. And so rather than just making incremental reductions each year and pretend like this is a one-time thing, we're trying to look at it with a long-term perspective and come up with a plan and really re-examine the services we provide. And so, as I mentioned earlier, 75% of what we provide is mandated, but the service level is discretionary in most cases. And so we're going to re-examine each of those programs and say, can we really afford this program level going forward? And if not, we need to kind of share with our residents that there's going to be a change in the service level. And we can no longer afford this higher service level, but we can afford a lower service level going forward. And so, so that's really, the process that we're trying to do is really take a look at the whole and rebuild our budget and say, here's a mix of services that we can really sustain over the long term.
Engaging and involving the community is a really important part of this budget and restructuring process. We really want to partner with the public to help us make these important budget decisions going forward. We also see this as an opportunity to talk about what county government does, to share information about the various services we provide, the budget challenges and financial situation we face, the steps we're taking to address this in a responsible manner, and provide opportunities for the public to provide feedback and suggestions to help us. We're taking a number of steps to help further this engagement. First, we put out information on the county website about the county budget and this long-term restructuring process. We put out a number of different documents, publications, links to other websites to help residents be informed about what their county government is facing and how we as a community can work on this together. We're also providing opportunities to share feedback through workshops, forums, town hall type meetings so that we can come together across the community and share information about the budget, about restructuring, about various services, and to get information from the community in how we can make important decisions going forward. So this is an opportunity to come together in person and to have important dialogue. At each week's board meeting, we also have opportunities to share feedback and input. So residents can come to the board meeting at the Civic Center during open time, share whatever they'd like, provide their input and feedback to the board on these difficult budget times, as well as at budget and planning workshops that the board will be holding later on this spring. So this is another way for residents to continually provide their voice, their feedback in the process. Throughout all this engagement, our goal is to partner with the community in looking at how to reduce the county budget given this new fiscal reality while still fulfilling our mission of serving the residents of Marin County.
That website again is co.marin.ca.us. Checking out the link to the budget and restructuring page will also keep you up to date on future Board of Supervisors meetings and town hall meetings regarding the county's budget and restructuring process. Again, that link, co.marin.ca.us.